Hello everyone, today we will be knitting a squirrel hat. You are in the InStyle Knitting Studio. Here is the squirrel hat. It is actually very simple to knit, but it takes a lot of time to sew all these elements onto the hat. Here are the ties in the form of a braid. You can sew a lining. I have already sewn it, but haven't attached it yet. How to sew a fleece lining. Check the link. I've already talked about it. I knitted this hat for a head circumference of 48 centimeters. This is about for 2 years old. I want to knit another one a bit larger, so friends, if you like this squirrel, let's get knitting for the work. We will need yarn. I have orange yarn. I will use Lana's Bonita that has 300 meters in 100 grams. It contains 49% merino wool and 51% acrylic. My color is 936. It is orange. Just like the squirrel, next, we need a lighter color. I have an ordinary areola acrylic thread. This one is 50 grams and 235 meters, the darker thread. Brown, I have wool yarn from a brand. It contains 30% wool and 70% acrylic per 100 grams, 475 meters. The color is called Charb. We will also need a bit of white thread. I have yarn art jeans. I think there are some leftovers, and I need a blue thread too for knitting the eyes. We will also need a notebook and pen for calculations, a measuring tape, and some needles too. Mark on the hat where to sew the elements. Next, scissors. My crochet hook is number 3.5. 2 half beads for eyes and markers. In my opinion, I haven't forgotten anything. If I have forgotten something, I will mention it while knitting. Before we start knitting, we need to make some calculations and take some measurements. To knit the hat, we need to know the circumference of the child's head. If you can, please measure the child's head circumference. I think everyone knows how to do this. We need the height of the hat. Take a hat that fits the child well and measure its height. From the top to the bottom. But if you don't have that option, and the child is not nearby, for example, if you need to knit, you can use this kind of table. It can be found on the internet. Everything is shown here. For instance, head circumference, bottom diameter, hat depth, and age, that is. If you don't have a child nearby, yes, there is an approximate age here, you can find out the head circumference. And these 2 columns that we need are also written here. But I will now explain how to calculate the bottom diameter and the depth of the hat yourself if you know the head circumference. I will be knitting for a head circumference of 49 centimeters. There is one more point. I will be knitting a winter hat and plan to add a lining. Therefore, if my daughter's head circumference is 49 centimeters, she is currently 4.5 years old. Let's look at the table. 4.5, for example, 4 years. So here, the head circumference is 51, 52, 53, 54. We only have 49. You see, every child is different, with different measurements, right? So for me, it's 49 centimeters, yes. But since I plan to make a lining, I will knit for a head circumference of 50 centimeters. If you are knitting without a lining, then you do not need to add any centimeters. So, I have a head circumference of 49 centimeters, but I will be knitting for a head circumference of 50 centimeters. So we need the head circumference. We have that, right. Next, see what we do. We divide these 50 centimeters of head circumference by P, which is 3.14. This gives me 15.9 centimeters, but that's roughly 16 centimeters, right? This gives us the diameter at Well, I'll explain everything later. Next again, the circumference of the head is 50 centimeters. We divide by 3. After that, we add 2 or 1 centimeter. If the size of the cap is small, then 1 centimeter. If it's larger, then 2. I will add 2. I end up with 18 plus, roughly, centimeters. This is how we calculated the height of the cap. So, these calculations need to be made. Now let's check against the table, just for interest, right? 50 centimeters. The head circumference is 50 centimeters. The second column is the diameter of the bottom, 15 and 9. My diameter of the bottom is that. So, I will knit the height around 18. Well, here, 2 to 3 years I have a bit more, yes. AG. That's it. So we made these calculations and now we can start knitting. That is, in order to knit the cap, we need to know the head circumference, and we will calculate the diameter of the bottom, the diameter of the base. This is until what point we will be making increases, and the height of the entire cap. A hook size 3.5. We form a ring and begin. We make 1 chain stitch for lifting. We will knit with double crochets from the top down. Therefore, in the ring, we must crochet 12 double crochets. My chain stitches will be included in the total number of stitches. So, that counts as my first double crochet. Additionally, in the ring, I will crochet therefore 11 double crochets. I am crocheting with 1 strand. So, 12 double crochets. It is related to accounting for the lift stitches, yes. We tighten the ring and make a slip stitch. I connect to the first, my worked into the top, not a chain stitch, but into the top of the first work stitch. Or this turns out to be our second stitch in this row, yes. We make a slip stitch and move on to the second row. So, I will be crocheting this hat in turning rows. I will turn the fabric in each row. I will get slightly textured fabric. Look, here I also crocheted in turning rows. In principle, it is not very noticeable. But, if you look closely, it is still not the same fabric as when using regular joining. Yes, I do this so that the seam is even. For this hat, I wanted to do it this way. You can choose not to turn the fabric. You can crochet as usual, joining the row. Well, just going up to the second row and then crochet as usual, yes. Then you will have the seam slightly diagonal. I think you are aware. Therefore, if you want the seam to be even, then you can crochet it as I turn the fabric. Sometimes I join rows a little differently. Here, look at the link to the masterclass on the bunny hat if you are interested. You can take a look there and join as I do. So, we moved on to the second row. I turn the fabric. I always turn it seems clockwise, yes. And then, I will crochet in the opposite direction. So we will turn the fabric in every row, yes. Now we will start making increases. We will be adding stitches. We will make increases in every row, until the diameter of the bottom reaches the desired size of 15.9 to 16 centimeters. How to make increases? Look. Initially, in the circular crochet, we work 12 double crochets. You can crochet some other number of stitches, but it's already been tested that 12 is a more optimal option. If you crocheted in a ring with 12 double crochets, then in each row we will have 12 more double crochets. If you have some other number of stitches accordingly, you will have the same number of additional stitches in each row. Clear? Right. Second row. The second row consists of increases. In each stitch of the previous row, we will have an increase. As a result, from 12 stitches, we should get 24 stitches. This is our first stitch. we will crochet the second stitch into the chain space. Here is our increase. This results in 1 stitch. From the previous row, we crocheted 2, made the increase, and then in each stitch of the previous row, we crochet 2 double crochets. I have crocheted 22 stitches, it should be 24. My last increase is right here into the chain spaces, probably, right here. We crocheted a slip stitch, as usual, into the first crocheted stitch, at the top, not into the chain spaces, but into my first crocheted, or the second stitch of this row. We move on to the next row, 2 chain stitches to start. We turn the fabric. In the third row, we will have an increase alternating with a regular double crochet. I usually crochet just double crochets at the beginning of the row, and the increase comes later. Here is one of my stitches crocheted. So, I will crochet 2 double crochets into the next stitch. That is, I will make an increase. Next, into the next stitch, 1 double crochet, into the next 2. Then 1, into the next stitch, and increase. This is how we will alternate until the end of the row, my last. Increase right here, so, at the end of each row, I will have an increase, as I start each row not with an increase, but with regular double crochets. Slip stitch into the second stitch of this row. We move on to the next row. 2 chain stitches to start. We turn the work. So, in the third row, we should have 36 double crochets, since in the second row we had 24. 24 plus 12 equals 36. In the fourth row, 36 in the third, plus 12 gives us 48 double crochets. Thus, in the fourth row, we will have 48 double crochets. In the fourth row, we will alternate 2 double crochets with an increase. That is, with each row, the number of regular double crochets between increases by 1, yes, by 1. This is our first double crochet. Next, we knit the second regular double crochet. I am making it right into the chain stitches. 2 regular double crochets are completed. In the next stitch, we make an increase. Then and again, 1 double crochet. Then in the next stitch 1, and in the following one, an increase. We will alternate this until the end. 46 double crochets are made, and the last increase goes right here. A slip stitch into the second double crochet. Of this row, the first ones are completed, yes. 2 chain stitches for the rise, and we turn the work. 48 double crochets are in our fourth row. 48 plus 12, 60 double crochets should be in the fifth row. In the fifth row, we will have an alternation of 3 double crochets with an increase, yes. In this fourth row, we had 2 regular double crochets and an increase, while in the fifth, there will be 3 regular double crochets and an increase, so. Friends, we will knit, making increases until the required diameter. I won't show you each row anymore. In the fifth row, we alternate 3 regular double crochets and an increase. Then we move to the sixth row. 4 regular double crochets and an increase. Seventh row has 5 regular double crochets and an increase, and so on. And with each row, we will have 12 double crochets more in total. Thus, we knit until we reach the diameter. This is what we are actually knitting for our base. This is the strip that goes through the center. Until our diameter reaches 16, but, friends, note, not up to 16, but up to 14. That is, I subtract 2 centimeters approximately from the required diameter and stop the increases later. I will show. What we do, why 2 centimeters? Because it turns out we do not finish one row to the required diameter, one row. Here we have the diameter, yes, one row is going. This is this one, and this one, accordingly. Here is about 1 centimeter, and here is about 1 centimeter. It turns out we do not finish 2 centimeters, or one row, to the required diameter. After that, we meet with you. Well, it turns out I have knitted 8 rows. I have 96 double crochets in the 8th row, and a diameter of 14 centimeters. According to our calculations, I should have 16 centimeters, but I have 14 centimeters. That means I did not knit 2 centimeters. What do we do next? Essentially, we need to knit these 2 centimeters more. That is 1 row to the required diameter. In this unknitted row, we should have 12 increases, yes, since originally we had 12 double crochets in the ring. We will transfer these increases from the last unknitted row over to 2 rows. That is, in the next row, we will add 6 double crochets instead of 12. And in the following row, which should already be straight, we will also add 6 increases. As a result, we will have 12 increases only over 2 rows instead of 1. I think you understood. That is half of the increases in one row in the next unknitted row, yes. And the second half of the increases already in the next row, which should be straight. We do this so that the transition from the bottom to the main fabric is smoother. I have knitted 8 rows, which means I had 96 double crochets in the 8th row. Yes, 96 in the last row, I divide by 6 increases for half the increases. Taking 12, I take half to get 6. It turns out to be 16, that is, in each. 16 double crochet, we will have an increase. Next is 96 is our 8th row. Yes, 96 double crochets, plus 6 increases in the 9th row. As a result, in the 9th row, we will have 102 double crochets. Next, we will knit the 10th row. 102 double crochets. We divide by 6 increases. It results in 17. That is, we have an increase in every 17th stitch. In total, 102 double crochets, plus 6 increases. It results in 108 double crochets. We will have in the 9th row. After that, we will crochet the fabric straight without increases by 108 double crochets in each row. So, we turn the fabric and crochet the 9th row. In the 9th row, we counted. In every 16th stitch we will have an increase. I begin. I start the row with regular stitches, so this is my first. Next, here under the chain stitches I crochet the second. So, I crochet 15 double crochets. 15 double crochets are made considering the chain stitches. The 16th stitch is our first increase. Next, again 15 regular double crochets and an increase. So, we will have 6 increases in the row. Here is the last 6th increase here. In total, I have 102 double crochets in the 9th row. A slip stitch, 2 chain stitches for height. We turn the fabric. In the 10th row, every 17th stitch is an increase. This is our first. Next, the second, so we crochet up to 16 stitches. 16 double crochets are made considering the chain stitches. In the 17th stitch, we make the first of 6 increases. Next, we crochet 16 again. Regular double crochets with an increase. So, we will repeat until the end of the row. In the end, we will have 6 increases, here. And we turn the knitting, that's it. We have knit 10 rows. As a result, we have 1 extra row. Our diameter should be about 16 centimeters, yes. We actually knitted 1 extra row. When we knitted 9 rows, we needed to measure the diameter. It turns out to be around 16 centimeters, that's all. This means we have knitted 108 double crochets in the 10th row. After this, friends, we knit straight without increases to the desired height of the hat, with 108 double crochets in my case in each row. We will measure the height of the hat periodically. We will knit and measure the height of the hat, like this, placing a measuring tape, until we reach the calculated height or depth of the hat, 18 and 7 centimeters in my case. About 18 centimeters. We take into account that in the end we will edge the hat with single crochets. About half a centimeter will go for the edging. We do not forget to turn the fabric with each new row. And we will meet with you in the next second part. I will tell you how many rows I knitted straight and what we will do next. Happy knitting to everyone and see you soon.